Hello everyone, welcome in my channel ASP.NET Core. Today I am going to show you file providers in ASP.NET Core. So if you want to access the directories informations as well as the file information, you can use the iFile provider interface with their methods, and in which we have provide the three you can say the also interface: physical file provider, embedded file provider, and composite file provider. By using the physical file provider, we can access the physical file informations and their path informations as well, and the embedded file provider through which we can get the assemblies information, get the file information which is included in the assembly. And the composite file provider actually composite of one more file providers, so we can get the information by using the iFile providers. So iFile providers actually get the file information in some methods to access the individual files and the directories, and the iDirectory content interface get the directory content in the file providers. So let's have to check the example to get the file informations as well as the directory information using the file providers, iFile providers interface. So let's have to check it. For the giving example, first of all, change some things in the startup.cs file for the getting some examples of the iFile providers. So how to access the files which is currently running your projects. So you can use the physical file providers. So you can use iFile provider with the physical file providers. Okay, so iFile provider like the physical file provider, physical file ph file, okay, and the new physical file provider, physical file provider. Okay, so you can get the directory informations. I want to get the directory information, so you can use directory dot directory actually exists in system.io dot get current directory, and the iFile provider actually exists in the physical file provider actually something physical file provider, the P is small, so here is the Microsoft.extension.file providers. So you can inject using the dependency injection services dot add singleton iFile provider as a physical provider. There is ph file. Okay, so how to use this dependency injection in the home controller section? You can do the things in the home controller, as well as you can create an instance of you can say create a private variable for the file providers. So private read only iFile provider, Microsoft.extension.file providers. So use file provider, and that you can use as a constructor. There is constructor. Okay, and after that you can use in the index method variable item equals to underscore file provider dot get directory information, get directory contents. Okay, and the directory content is all. There is no path. Okay, so in the view section you can send the items. Okay, now generate a view for the index. There is automatically generated, so refuse it, and you can erase all the contents. Okay, and create a your view section with the model directory model, and iDirectory content, actually iDirectory contents. Okay, so resolved it. There is actually we can use the using namespace using Microsoft dot extensions dot file providers. Yeah, I think it is resolved directory contents. After that you can access the information UL section at the rate of for each variable item in the model. So here is model, and if it is directory, you can say if item dot is directory, then display with the list item at the rate of item dot name. Okay, as a directory you can say. So directory. Okay, and if it is not, it's not a directory, then it's a file. So item dot name with the li option at the rate of item dot name, and with the physical file you can say so item at the rate of item dot physical file path. Okay, so try this. Now save this and run your IIS Express with your code. There is the physical file provider things, you can check it here. There is application setting, development.json files with their path informations. Okay, the bin is the directory, you can say. Okay, so data is a directory, object is a directory, and these are the files, path of the file name, physical file name. If you want to use the embedded file providers, so there is the code is the same for the index.cshtml as the home.cshtml, but something changes in the here. iFile provider is the embedded provider. I want to use it. So first of all, use embedded. So here you can use embedded file provider. So embedded file provider, and actually embedded file provider get the information, get the file from the assembly. So you can use it here, assembly instead of directory. Assembly, and there is not system.reflection system.reflection.assembly. So assembly.get entity assembly. So get entry assembly actually. Okay, so after that you can use iFile provider as a singleton. You can add it in the embedded. If any file in the assembly, then you can retrieve easily. Okay, but I think it's here, it's not any file. There is nothing content in the assembly, so there is nothing. If you want to use embedded, you can do this by some changes also here. File providers, physical file providers, embedded file provider, and composite file provider. You can do this here. Okay, so what is this method want to implement? There is the embedded file provider is already is there, so just copy this thing and Control Z for the physical file provider is there, so I want to use the embedded file provider is also there. File provider, PH file for the physical file provider, and that is get directory informations, get entry assembly, we can use it here, so reflection. And the last is the composite file provider. So just copy this thing, Control C, and composite. Okay, and in the composite file provider, here we can change it, composite file provider, and the composite file provider actually access the physical file provider as well as the embedded file providers. So you can use it here, physical file provider, and the embedded file provider. Here it is. Okay, now after that you can use as a file provider, that is the composite file provider. So you can get the physical file provider as well as the embedded file provider by using the composite file provider. So the whole thing is the same. So thank you very much for watching this video, and keep watching all other videos which is related to ASP.NET Core. I'm trying to give you better video tutorial of ASP.NET Core. Please subscribe my channel and like this video. Thank you very much for watching this.